All right, everybody, welcome back. Good afternoon. We've got more Pro Football Focus stuff to look at here from that final game against the Niners 2 days ago. And we're going to be taking a look at the defense now. And this should be fun because the defense was remarkable. The defense played as good a game as you're ever going to see an NFL defense play. And they did it on the road against a good team, a good offense, and with so much on the line, it was something else. So, gonna be a lot to celebrate here, not a lot to be upset about, unless Pro Football Focus does what they do sometimes and produce results that don't make a lot of sense. But we're gonna go through it. Again, keep in mind, Pro Football Focus grades can be hit or miss, but Pro Football Focus numbers, statistics, analytics, generally very, very useful. All right, so let's get into it. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. Okay, so let's take a look at what we got here on the defensive side of the ball. Number one, I mean, this guy made the play of the day. It was the play that kind of made the game feel like it was over. Niners finally get a good drive going, and then Drake Thomas makes an interception that, I mean, it bounces off of Christian McCaffrey's hands, but it's still an incredible catch. So 92.1, and you can see it's not just because of what he did in coverage. It was because he provided quality stuff everywhere. And in a year where Drake Thomas was not even supposed to be a starter, where when he became a starter, I wasn't really sure what we were getting into, it's a pretty phenomenal way to end things off, man. And we're at the point now where I think that Drake Thomas is clearly going to be a part of this team's future, and I'm kind of excited for it. So he's number one by a long shot. Number two is DeMarcus Lawrence, who was a little bit quiet Saturday. Didn't show up in the stat sheet in any over-the-top way, didn't make any over-the-top monster plays, but did what he does. He plays very solidly. He does his job. He tackles. He holds up against the run. And he was an effective pass rusher in that game, even if he didn't get a sack. Derek Hall was next, coming back from his suspension, doing great work rushing the passer, and that was what we needed. He was one of our most effective and productive pass rushers in that game, maybe the most. So really, really cool, really, really good. And I do believe we're going to need big stuff from him in the postseason if we want to get to where we want to get to. I don't think you're going to get through this whole season, this whole postseason, just leaning on Lawrence and Nwosu, because Mafe feels like he's already kind of got one foot out the door. So Derek Hall's got to be that dude. Ernest Jones, not often you see him get some credit from PFF, but they really liked him this week, 78.7. Eman Wari, one of his best PFF grades of the year, and he did it all as well. Look at the spread on these grades. Really, really good. Boye Mafe, hey, I mean, I know I just bagged on him a little bit, but realistically, he's playing for his next contract, and he hasn't done a lot this year to earn it. So if he wants to crank it up a little bit now, then that's great. And it feels like he is. I think that the last two games, Mafe's been nice. And it's probably too late to really change his fate in Seattle beyond this season, but if he could be a part of a couple of big playoff plays, it helps. Reek Woolen, really good grade as well, although they did punish his tackling, as they often do. I actually really like the way he's playing against the run right now. I really like the way he's coming up and attacking the ball, and the coverage is as good as it always is. Byron Murphy, Also a rare, really good grade for him, so that's exciting. Definitely like that. Jaron Reed was graded well. He picked up a sack. He had some other work pressuring the quarterback in this game, so that's cool. It's been kind of a rough year for Reed in terms of production, but I think he's doing his job this year, and this game, kind of a nice little showing out for him. Josh Jobe, above average, well above average, 67.7. Ty Okada, effective, 65.5. Devin Witherspoon, this is kind of where you start getting into the more like blah grades. Still not bad, but I was a little bit surprised because Witherspoon gave up very little in that game. I know it wasn't splashy. I know he didn't make any big plays, but he was great. So I don't know if I agree with that. Julian Love, okay, maybe as a safety, you're a little bit uninvolved in things sometimes, it feels like, because that whole game was being played around the line of scrimmage, it felt like. Nwosu, I don't know about this. Don't know where you get Nwosu being slightly above replacement level. So I can't say I'm totally on board with that, but it's still above replacement level, I guess. And then you've got Riley Mills, who played 3 snaps, and Brandon Peely way down here, but he only played 4 snaps. The only, like, bad score here that's notable is Leonard Williams. Now, 56.6, obviously, I don't know if that reflects the game that Leonard Williams actually played. I will say, though, this is a little bit of a trend. Leonard Williams has not been graded well overall in a lot of recent games. And I hope that this isn't because he's wearing down, because it's the end of the year and he's worn out. He is an older player. It wouldn't be shocking if that were the case. But let's just say I'm really happy we have a bye week this week because I think Leonard Williams, more than anyone else, might need it. He's played over 800 snaps this year, played in every game, and maybe this long season is taking a toll on him. And I think that this week off is going to help him more than just about anybody else on this team. All right, so those are the top level grades defensively. Really good. The only guy to get a not good grade really is Leonard Williams, who actually played a decent amount in that game. So I don't think the grade is very reflective of reality, but I do think it's worth noting that Leonard Williams has not been as impactful as he was earlier in the season. I think that's fair to point out. So there's probably something there. Okay, run defense page. Always interesting to see the stop numbers. And here's the thing that really stands out to me, and I imagine it stands out to most people. Boye Mafe, 3 run stops. All 3 of his run tackles were stops. And this is kind of what I'm talking about here. If Boye Mafe wants to turn it up a little bit and help the run defense like this, and be part of probably the best run defense in football by a mile, then that's awesome. And it's definitely something that's going to help him get paid in the offseason. Byron Murphy, 2 run stops, and then we had a few other players with 1. Honestly, the Niners didn't run the ball a lot in that game because they couldn't, so there aren't a ton of run stops to go around, only 8 total, but still very, very good. And the only guy to miss a run tackle was Murphy with 1. And speaking of missed tackles, if you go back to the main PFF page real quick here, just to illustrate how good this game was, Seattle missed 3 tackles in that game. 1 was by Woolen, and I think that was on that George Kittle jump pass thing where it was kind of an awkward angle. I didn't even feel like Woolen did anything all that wrong on the play. He just kind of ended up in the wrong place. 1 was Byron Murphy, and 1 was Josh Jobe. So the tackling was impeccable. 3 missed tackles against the 49ers. And by the way, Christian McCaffrey leads the entire NFL in forced missed tackles this year. He can't make anybody miss here. Okay, so pass rush grades and pass rush numbers, better than the last few weeks, still not amazing. But remember, the Niners only ran 42 plays, so how many chances are you really going to have to hit the opposing quarterback when the Niners almost never have the ball? Derek Hall and DeMarcus Lawrence, 4 pressures each. They were leading the way. We had Jaron Reed and Uchenna Nwosu with 3 pressures. Eman Wari on the blitz with 2 pressures. And you guys know I'm not a big fan of this team blitzing, but Eman Wari has such a good hit rate on his rushes that it seems like it's got to be worth it. Murphy also had 2. Leonard Williams had 2. And then you also had Drake Thomas with 1 pressure. So a good spread. A lot of good guys getting involved here. 3 sacks on Purdy, and he's not an easy guy to sack. And overall, I'd say this was a successful day getting after the opposing quarterback. All right, so the coverage stuff, it's not quite as dominant as the Panthers game, but man. So Drake Thomas with the interception leads the way. And even if you don't include the interception, which again was a little bit of a fluky play because McCaffrey had to drop it, 4 targets, 12 yards. That's still really good for a linebacker. I will take that any day of the week. Reek Woolen, 5 targets, 15 yards from an outside corner. That is money in the bank right there. Nick Emanwari, this is kind of the one guy, well, not only guy in this game, but he was one of the guys that they went after a little bit and had a little bit of success on. And this is just going to be kind of the way it is for now. I think that Emanwari will get better in coverage as we go to year 2, year 3. But for this year, he is going to be somebody that other teams feel like they can exploit a little bit. 7 out of 7, 38 yards. I'm still not mad about that, by the way. That's not even 6 yards a target. Like, that's fine. I can live with that. That's not even 5.5 yards a target. It's not a problem. Ernest Jones, in a game where you're playing against Christian McCaffrey, 0 targets. Check that out, man. That's kind of crazy. Josh Jobe, 2 targets, 1 catch, 13 yards. No problem. Okada, 1 target, 4 yards. The closest thing we had to a liability in coverage, and this is probably why the grade wasn't very good, was Witherspoon, 4 targets, 4 catches, 35 yards, mostly on that one good drive the Niners had that ended in the interception. So, not perfect, but again, it wasn't one of those things where it doesn't even feel that bad. Like 35 yards in a game against the Niners, like that's not even really a problem. So, even this, I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm not tripping on this one at all. Julian Love, 1 target, 10 yards. Boye Mafe dropped into coverage once, didn't get targeted, so nothing to say. And yeah, it's pretty dominant. It's not as good as the game we played against the Panthers, but that might be the best game Seattle's defense ever has defending the pass. So special teams, not much to say. Pat O'Connell and Jake Bobo. And let me tell you, Jake Bobo needs these good special teams grades because without them, I don't know what he's doing on this team. And that's the only way he's going to have any kind of future on this team because he has completely bottomed out offensively and he's not providing anything there. If anything, he's been a net negative. What else is there? Jason Myers had a rough day. We all know that. He had the penalty and then he missed 2 kicks. But the one guy they really called out poorly on special teams was Cam Akers. I think he had the penalty on the opening kickoff of the game. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe it was on him. So that's probably what that is. But there's not too much else to say otherwise. And that's Pro Football Focus. That's what we got. So, hey, I think that it paints the picture of a pretty dominant defensive performance. I don't agree with everything, but most of it lines up with reality to me. You shut down an offense like that, a good offense like the Niners, they're gonna shower you in praise. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. Should be at least one more video later today, maybe more. We'll see. See you guys later. And there's plenty more to talk about. Excited to see where this goes, but it's going to be a chill week here. Remember, we're not going to get injury reports. We're not going to be getting those kind of concrete updates. We might get some verbal information from McDonald as the week goes on, but don't expect concrete injury reports. And obviously, we're just waiting to see who we play. All right. Everybody have a good rest of your Monday. See you guys soon. Go Hawks. And good times, man. Good times.